Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob.
Professional.
Here's the guy.
We got Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio in Tennessee. Gents, how we doing? Give me a second to gather myself.
I'm doing pretty good. It's hot as a you know what here. How about you, Tim? Are you feeling this sticky hotness over there?
No, not anymore. I cut the grass early this morning, got all my stuff done, got inside the AC. I'm feeling good, man. I'm doing good.
Okay.
88 and sunny here, Jacob. I'm chilling. Day off tomorrow, so we are cooking with Crisco.
Yeah, see, we mow on the 4th of July. There's no better way to celebrate our country than go out there and keep this country moving. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it.
Throw clippings into every landscaping bed you can.
Because nobody's going to care. Everybody's all sauced up. You know what I mean? It don't matter. We're all good, right? So, Boz says back-to-back World War champs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No.
All right. So, obviously, this is Packers Total Access. If you're new here, this is a silly little show where we talk Packers 365 days a year, pretty much 365 days a year. If you're into Packers talk, feel free to drop in anytime. Sub to the channel. We cover everything. We pretty much do, post-game shows, pre-game shows. We do film breakdown. We're going to do some film breakdown tonight. I'm really, really excited about diving into some Evan Williams tape here at the end of the show. We're also going to talk most underrated Packers of 2025, and we'll do an Evan Williams deep dive before we go into the Chalk Talk, which I'm really, really excited about as well. Amelia, you had a couple questions. Why don't we lead off with that, man? You had a couple cool little questions that you had mentioned before we went live. Why don't we hit on those real quick?
All right.
5 or 10 minutes. What do you got there, man?
So asking the group here, if you can only pick one, which first-round pick on defense would you want to have a breakout season this year? So first-round picks, that would leave LVN, Wyatt, and Walker as your options.
Quay freaking Walker.
I love it, Tim. I love it. I don't even need to, because I'm just saying these are the ones we drafted in the first round, not another team is all. So, yeah, Tim, I love that it's Quay Walker. I mean, we've talked about a lot. Speed of the defense starts at the linebacker core with Edrin Coop and Quay, spiking off this year. I think that would be absolutely huge.
Yep.
Jacob?
Yeah. I'd have to go with my boy LVN. If he ends up kind of coming to what he could be as far as his physical potential. I mean, the dude is, we talk about him being Hercules. He looks, and if we could have another, shutdown sort of edge that they couldn't key on Wyatt or my boy Cox, if we have that hockey rotation, if he really is the top two with Gary and LVN, I think it could be an absolute difference maker.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that y'all picked Walker and LVN, because I definitely would have went Wyatt, and we didn't talk about this off air.
No, we didn't. I just sent in the text. I didn't want them to have any pre-notion on it.
If you guys want to know the behind the tea leaves, how things go, we basically in the last 5 minutes, what do you guys want to do? What do you want to do? And then nobody answered, so we just went live.
I guarantee you the chat's like, no, we can tell. Y'all didn't know preparation whatsoever. But yeah, with Wyatt, we talked about having that 3 tech of the future. If he were to break out, then when we kind of draw that picture of the most important positions on defense, edge, D tackle, and then of course tier 2 positions, your Mike linebacker, your post safety. If Wyatt turns into that dude, or if he takes another step forward, which he did last year, I think the sky's the limit for this defense. It really is, man. It really is. And you had on offense too, didn't you, Billy?
Yeah, just real quick, the chat had H.E. Soder, Wyatt, Chuck Jaggers, Walker, John Johnson, Wyatt, Andy Watkins, LVN, Mac Podcast, LVN, Clint Armchair, LVN, Shay, LVN, Bates, LVN, Mo Bills, LVN, and that's a bust. So, yeah, that's about everybody. Honestly, most landed kind of on LVN there at the end, which I like to see. We kind of want that edge presence. If I were to just do a quick one on the offense, the only 2 first-rounders, again, if you could only pick one, which one would you want to have a breakout season? Options there would be Golden and Morgan. I'm going to exclude Jay Love just because I feel like that's a given. We want him to break out no matter what. So I guess opposite this time, Clay.
Yeah, I would. For me, it's definitely Golden. If he can be that Z that takes the top off the defense and opens things up for Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed underneath, pick your poison. I understand if people want to go Morgan too, but for me, it would be Matthew Golden. Yep.
Like it. Jacob, you're in the middle again.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Bates. It's not who I would want to. I guess it'd be who do I need. Like, I guess it'd be want and need. The amount of draft capital we spent on Morgan. And what we've gotten in return so far has been, in my opinion, quite lackluster. And so I just want to see him take a step, find somewhere on that position. I'll even settle so low as to say, even if he's like the best backup, so that we have a rotational player that can maybe pop in of a tackle, a guard situation when we need it. We saw how necessary that was in the Eagles game when we lost one key guy, another key guy. We didn't have nobody in the hopper. We had no backups that were willing to come in there and actually do what they needed to do in the trenches for us to even have a game plan to put together. I really like Golden. I think that one's going to be a little easier for him to kind of step into his role, where I think the Morgan's going to have to earn that a little more.
All right. Timbo?
I would answer that question with yes.
I love it. We need
both of them. Let's go. Both
because I didn't give him a third option. Tim went with both.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, both of them.
Perfect.
Because a lot to what Jacob is saying, right? He made a good point here. Jordan Morgan, man, if that guy takes a step, man, we are going to be lethal.
Absolutely.
And if Matt Golden comes in here and pops off as a rookie, man, we're going to be lethal. So there's no wrong way to answer that question. But if you put me under the gun, I'm going to say Matt Golden for sure.
Yep. We had Bates at Morgan, and Clint, the armchair quarterback, said Morgan Golden will be fine. I do like that. I have one more. One more question here. If you could pick, now this one's going to kind of open up. I think we're going to exclude quarterbacks here as well. But if you could pick one position group to play like a top 5 group, who would that be?
Top 5 in the league, or top just?
Yes. Yeah, top 5 in the league position group. So you're talking,
defensive tackle.
Yeah. What do you think, Quizmaster?
I'm not going to test. I would say O-line. I would be very happy with if we can protect Jay Love. Like I said, build that wall. Get a wall grader for Jacobs. Get Emmanuel in there. Get Lloyd some touches. I think if the front of Jordan Love is up and he stays upright, there's not a lot of penalties. There's not a lot of sacks. This offense he's gonna have time to find Golden wherever he is downfield. He's gonna have time to find Tuck, and Matt can get into his bag a little bit more. So I would say the O-line group.
Yeah. For me, I would have to go O-line as well. I mean, it goes back to last year. Why did you lose to the Eagles? Because your offensive line could not handle that stellar defense. Although we played the Eagles better than any of the other playoff opponents, including the Super Bowl match up there. So yeah, for me, it would probably be offensive line here more recently. However, if you could tell me, look, quarterback room, that's a position group too, right? I think, right? If you could tell me that Jordan Love is going to be a top 5 quarterback this year, that's hard to go against that.
Right.
And the same thing really with the wide receiver room. You could legit, if you have a top 5 wide receiver room this year,
that would be crazy.
What you had last year, you're probably going to have Jordan Love finish in the top 5 as well. It's just simply from that byproduct of that, So yeah.
I'd probably go with I think I'd have to go with the D-line, and I hate that I just stole Tim's answer. Didn't I, Tim?
No, because I screamed it out right away. So
you screamed it out? Okay.
Yeah.
I just think that they are the ones that are in position to take the biggest steps, and if they do, it should help that group immensely. And you add in the fact that we got DeMarcus Covington in there, and just the way that they're setting up. My brain initially told me to say linebacker, but we did that exercise yesterday, which I thought was great, doing that way too early 53. And my contention was that, well, if we lose even one of Quay or Cooper, that whole room falls apart. But you guys kind of made me feel better with knowing that, like I think it was Emilio that said, we can switch to where we have that nickels coverage where there's only 2 backers needed, or maybe we have a really heavy DB room that we can utilize in certain weird, unique packages. So I think I'm going to have to go again, kind of with the answer to the first question. If LVN takes a step, if Wyatt takes a step, if Gary's Gary and Clark can be Clark, that right there is a pretty good group.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm going to go ahead and take care of some housekeeping here. I don't know who Bob Walter is. First time I've ever seen him in the chat. I will say this Big O has been working overtime. I banned 3 accounts that were obviously him, but it's literally just been spam, negative the entire time from Bob Walter. So, Bob, take a hike, brother.
Sit your butt outside.
There you go. Listen, you want to come in here and talk ball, and hey, man, here's where I think we struggle. Here's where you need to improve. Cool. But when you just rapid fire negative comment after negative comment in the chat, this ain't the show. There's plenty of others out there. You can go to Twitter, you'll fit right in. I promise. There's all kinds of people.
Yeah, we already got an AFAM.
Just to finish up, the chat had Bates D line, Andy Watkins cornerbacks, Zacchaeus Earls cornerback, Chuck Jagger's knows his chest sucks, and H.E. Soldier says O-line.
Yeah, somebody says doesn't ban fart talk in the chat. No, you guys are free to talk about that. It's cool. Just don't come in here trying to.
Oh, trust me, they are.
Yeah.
You think God never farted?
All right. Completely agree. Chuck says Facebook groups are the worst, man. I never would have imagined the Facebook groups would be that bad. Like I had to
terrible
exit stage right. Like these people are the most miserable folks on the face of the planet. It's unbelievable. Let's shift gears now. And Amelia, I love the topics, by the way. Did we get everything there?
Yeah, that's good.
Those are some hot topics.
Yeah, I like those exercises, man. Sure.
Remember that cool store called Hot Topic?
Yeah, I know you shop there. There, Pac Sun. I know you just lit it up. You walked in there and bought every lava lamp they had.
Journeys. Oh, yeah, dude. I lived at that mall.
Jacob met his first ex-girlfriend at Hot Topic.
His first ex-girlfriend and his second ex-wife.
She was working the desk. She was 84, but
all right, let's shift gears here, guys. I want to talk about the most underrated Packers in 2025. All right, going into this year, who do you think is going to be the most underrated Packer? Like, and what I mean by this is, as you go into this season, it's someone that maybe people aren't talking as much about, right? Or maybe they're down on them last year and they're, as the title says, underrated. And you think, hey, they're going to come out this year and just ball out, and it's really going to make a difference for the Packers. All right. If you got any questions on that topic, let me know. But let's go around the horn with that. All right. Like if you don't truly understand the question, Jacob's looking at me like I got 3 heads right now. Jacob, we'll start with you since you look confused. Who is your most underrated Packer of 2025?
Well, I guess I was looking because I thought I should maybe go last because it'd be very suspenseful and it'd be such a cool. No, it's not. It's not that cool. I'm going with Matt LaFleur. It just, to me, I wanted to originally go with Keyshawn Nixon, but Emilio laughed at me in the chat. So I said, all right, never mind. I'm going to change my answer real quick. And then I said Matt LaFleur, and that actually kind of made sense. So I tried to pull up some quick stats, like really quick stats. The guy just has never gotten his flowers. When he first came to Green Bay, it was in January 8th of 2019. And everybody said, well, he's got Aaron Rodgers. It was kind of similar to when Caleb Williams walked into the perfect situation. They said, Matt LaFleur is inheriting such a great team. He's got good talent. He's got Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, blah, blah, blah. They go 13-3 that first year. He's the first rookie head coach in Packers history to win 10 games, make to the playoffs, win the NFC North, going 6-0 during that. By the way, he has the most rookie wins of any coach since Harbaugh did it in 2018. By the way, he's got a winning percentage of .648. That's the 4th active streak right now. You compare that to a guy like, I don't know, that would be one of the best of all time. Vince Lombardi had a .738. And the guy just has had no attention, the media-wise. Every single top 10 head coach list you see, he is not anywhere on that list. Anytime you see him talked about in the media, it kind of says that he's, had great success with Jordan, but he doesn't get any credit for whatever reason, because they say it's, it was when Rodgers was there, it was because he has a Hall of Fame quarterback. When Rodgers leaves, it's because, well, they've got, the front office and Goody, and they invested into the cornerback room, and they've got finally a first-round wide receiver, blah, 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 blah. He's done nothing but, and don't be wrong, I don't think Matt LaFleur is perfect in any way, but the guy is a scheme wizard. And I think that he went from aw shucks Matt LaFleur to almost what I would say is too confident, too cocky belt strap Matt LaFleur. But I kind of like it. If I got to
call it Tupac LaFleur.
Tupac LaFleur. That dude's dishing out fish sandwiches, right? So
just the tip though.
So, wow, that was a good drop. So I would just have to say that starting us off, I'll take a little bit of an obscure note and I'll say we got to give a little love to Matt LaFleur. That's my answer.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I love it. I love that he shook things up going with the head coach, because obviously we had at the heart of the question is thinking about which Packers, but I think it's spot on, Jacob. I mean, that dude, what Matt LaFleur has done for this franchise is unbelievable. It's still wild that he's not talked about as one of the better coaches in the league. I would venture to say he is the highest winning percentage of any coach in NFL history that has never won Coach of the Year. I would feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Like you got to kind of compare apples to apples and look at the active coaches. Like Nick Sirianni, did he win it last year or was it someone else? I'm thinking Sirianni won it one year, but I could be wrong there.
Pretty sure it was Sirianni and it was obviously Chiefs Andy Reid, and there was one other guy in front of him. But yeah, every single one of those guys, I'm pretty sure for sure has won Coach of the Year.
Yeah. All right, Emilio, what about you, man? Who's your most underrated Packer of 2025?
Kevin O'Connell won the award this past year.
So did Sirianni? I'm going to see if he ever won Coach of the Year here.
Jacob had 22 players to pick from, and he picked the coach. Love it. I have Jordan Morgan on the board. I talked about O-line in the previous segment. I think that it's going to be completely, relying on where this offense goes. If you don't have those five protecting the QB, protecting your backs, there's going to be an issue. Swiss cheese is a problem. We cannot have penalties. We can't have snap issues when it's loud, when we're on the road. We can't have silent count issues. Can't have holding penalties. All these things need to be ex-nayed and fixed. Jordan Morgan, we had a 52.9 overall PFF grade last year, 79th out of 136 guards. Pass blocking grade of 61.5 and a run blocking grade of 56.2. Only played about 185 snaps. So, didn't get a lot of burn, had to fight through some injuries. I think coming back this year out of that rookie season, get through your injury, know the offense. You've been through what an NFL offseason is, and you kind of can get your feet under you and get rolling this year. I think that, you get in there, you just fight for your position. You don't think you're a starter right now. You have no idea. You got to fight through Sean Ryan, whoever else, be a backup tackle, whatever. But I think that we do have a good player on our hands. I think get him through this injury. We'll see where he goes. His snaps this year, 65 at left guard, 120 at right guard. So let's get this dude on the field a little bit more.
All right, Emilio's going with Jordan Morgan. What about you, Tim? What are you thinking here, Big Dog?
I'm going to go with that guy from Kentucky, Carrington Valentine, man. I feel like there's been a lot of talk about our secondary, particularly cornerback room, since the departure of Jair. And I just feel like maybe I don't think I'm alone, because I know you're pretty high on CV as well, Clayton. And I know Emilio's got a lot of love for him too, Jacob as well. But feels like the fan base as a whole is kind of sleeping on our boy. And I think this is the year he's poised for a breakout season. The Jair Alexander circus has left town. And, for all intents and purposes, it's CV's room. If he can step up and take on that role and have a breakout year, I think he's going to prove to be more of the underrated Packers. Seventh round pick, I believe, brought into the fold. Certainly doesn't play football like a seventh round pick. And I think year 3 is going to be, poised for success for CV. That's my pick.
Yeah, with Carrington, man, the things that he did last year, it's amazing. People still don't understand. Like when you compare him to Jair Alexander's play on the field last year, they literally had the same amount of interceptions, right? Both had 2. Carrington gave up 0 touchdowns, while Jair gave up 2 touchdowns. And his passer rating when targeted, his being Carrington Valentine's, was the best on the team. The guy played as good as you would expect. And I know everybody's now referring to him as my guy, right? But if you rewind back to 2023, was I not the most anti-Carrington Valentine guy on this show? It's just like, looks like cheeks. Like, I wanted this Kentucky Wildcat to work out, but this don't look good.
That was back when he was wearing number 37.
Totally different, right?
Number, new mantra. Let's go.
And what he did last year, man, it's not too big for him. And playing that fisheye technique and just keeping his eye on the quarterback and being able to literally have a curl flat responsibility to break off in a deep third and pick the ball off. And I'm not talking about Jair, just completely abandoning his responsibility and going and getting the ball. This is a dude that he had his spot covered. Not only did he have his spot covered, but he's eyeing another spot as well when they're playing spot drop and not matchy top defense. So I'm with you with Carrington. All these have been great choices. They have. And I've got several that come to mind for me. I'm going to mention one on offense, and then I'm going to go to defense with one as well. On offense, though, Emmanuel Wilson.
Yes.
It's a good one.
I don't want to say this, but I'm going to. If Josh Jacobs were to go down with an injury, you would think, crap, we're screwed. That's one of the best running backs in the league. I feel really, really comfortable saying that if Josh Jacobs went down, Emmanuel Wilson would step in. And I'm not saying be as good as Josh Jacobs, but you wouldn't be like, crap, we can't run the football now. Based off what Emmanuel Wilson has shown, guys, it's every single year he seems to just kind of show up. Last year, he ended up he had 105 carries, I believe it was. If I'm looking at that correctly. I know he's in on 105 run plays, and there might have been some jet sweeps and whatnot. But the guy finished with an 82.9. His run grade was 86.3. 86.3. And I'll never forget the preseason game. I want to say it was against the Bengals. It was an A-gap left run. He bounces it across the formation, takes it outside. And I heard Gary Ellison on the Homer Hour say, what that kid Emmanuel Wilson did in that preseason game, I know it's preseason, that's not normal. And it's every time he gets his opportunity, he just seems to do the right thing. He seems to be he understands the system. He understands what his role is. His pass pro is getting better. He's catching the football better out of the backfield, and he's always been able to run the rock. That's one guy that sticks out to me. But on defense, you're going to love this one, Jacob. The most underrated is Brenton Cox Jr.
Thank you.
Like, what this dude did last year, and according to NFL Pro, he had the highest quarterback pressure percentage of anybody else on the team that wasn't a stack backer. You guys know stack backers are overly inflated because of the manipulation factor and kind of catching the offensive line off guard when you bring those scrape blitzes, those red dog blitzes, things like that. But looking at what he continues to do in Brenton Cox Jr., 67.2, right? And it's like not off the chart. You don't look at it and go, wow, this dude's an all-pro player. But every time he's on the field, you go back to the same year that Carrington struggled, right? That same year, Brenton Cox Jr. is like, man, he can rush the quarterback, but he doesn't play under control. He makes us very vulnerable against the run. And last year, you really seen him clean that up. You could tell that was an emphasis that Jeff Hafley put on this defense. Now you take him coming off of his best year, Brenton Cox Jr., and now you add DeMarcus Covington in to coach him, coming out of the Bill Belichick School of Defense. I'm telling you, man, the only thing that will hold Brenton Cox Jr. back will be lack of reps. If it's one of those situations where the Packers have kind of done this in the past where they'll hold guys back a little bit knowing they're going into a contract year, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they give Brenton Cox Jr. as much of an opportunity to be that third rusher as anyone else on the roster. I really do. There's a chance that Barron Sorrell leapfrogs him because he's a fresh draft pick and Brenton Cox Jr. is, just kind of an undrafted guy. But if they give him the opportunities and allow him to use a pass rush move and then use a counter move and use another counter move and build up a little bit of repetition with his pass rush game, I'm telling you, man, I think Brenton Cox Jr. is really going to stick out this year. That's mine. That's the one I would choose. But I just wanted to mention Emmanuel Wilson because, man, running backs get banged up.
You know what? What I thought was a good comment here by John Johnson. He says, if Marshawn Lloyd studs out, we'll have the best running back duo in the league. I would push back on that, saying that I think we already do, John Johnson. It's just that the other guy is, like Clayton just talked about, it's Emmanuel Wilson.
And now you got a three-headed monster.
I was going to say, if anything, we've got ourselves maybe one of the most unknown. I think that would be the more like if we had a segment where it's like, who's the most unknown player going in? You have to talk about guys like probably Morgan, Lloyd, obviously all the new draft picks, but guys that we just haven't been able to see get their legs underneath them because injuries have plagued them. Maybe guys like Musgrave, that sort of thing. But man, I can't help but love the fact that Brenton Cox Jr. is legitimately starting to have some people put some respect on his name. Even when I can get Ryan to start talking about a UDFA, I'm starting to do something, man. I'm not ever going to let that fire die. Never.
All right. Anybody else you guys want to mention? Maybe one that was a close second for you? Anything like that comes to mind?
I just got one more point about my boy CV.
Yeah, man.
It's a blessing. The man turns 24 years old when this season starts, guys. He's 23, man, right now.
Yeah.
He'll be 24 in September, first week of September. So, don't sleep on CV, man. I've got a feeling that we have a star in the making here at the boundary corner spot.
The only other person I'd mention would be Carl Brooks, just because I'm pretty sure he hasn't missed a game for this team, and he was a 4th, 5th round pick from Bowling Green. I think that it's going to be something where he can step up. He's going to get a lot of reps this year. He's going to get a lot of playing time, and he's consistently on the field. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you guys think about Ravawama Vinivalu's comment here, where it says Zadarius Smith still a free agent? Worth a look? ?
I've got some thoughts.
Isn't Preston Smith is still too, right?
The only problem I have with that is the way he left Green Bay.
Yeah.
It was really, really ugly. If that hadn't happened, I think it'd be worth bringing him in, right? Kicking the tires, see if he's got a little gas in the tank. I think he can still play football. But I think what you're finding, though, with Zadarius is everywhere he goes, the team just kind of wants to move on. Y'all notice that? We got a saying down here, if everywhere you go, it smells like crap, probably want to check your boot. You know what I mean? Everywhere he goes, it just seems like teams are like, okay, we're done with him. Let's move on. Didn't he go
in my mouth right there?
Didn't he go to Cleveland too? Am I thinking right, guys?
Yep.
So he spent time in Cleveland, Minnesota,
right?
And Detroit, right?
Yeah.
So he was in.
Nobody wants him.
He's just got to become a Bear to complete the trifecta of the NFC North.
Yeah. So, and again, the way he left, and I don't know if you guys caught on to this or not, but Matt LaFleur was on Bussing with the Boys last year sometime, and he talked about an instant where he got stuck in a room with a player that was pissed off with him that they were letting go, that they were moving on from. And he got really, really confrontational, and it was just those two in there like, oh, crap, this dude's going to beat the hell out of me type thing because he's such a big guy, you can imagine. I think he was talking about Zadarius. I could be wrong, but I think he was talking about Z there. So, yeah.
Yep.
Coach Lynn says that bridge is burned. I agree, Coach. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad idea for the gentleman that brought that up. I think that's a great topic, a great question. I think that's what holds him back there. If it wasn't for that and how he exited and him just being like, every team just kind of wanting to push him out the door so quick. Yeah. I think he can play football. It's another Kentucky guy too. You think I'd be all over it, be a big Kentucky Wildcat fan, but
it's kind of the Jair factor with him too, right? Like he's still young enough, but he's getting older. And then it's like, how many games is he going to play? Is he going to play 8 or 9 games for you? He's dealt with back issues, he's had injury issues in the past. So it's not just about the bad taste in our mouth as Packer fans towards Zadarius. It's also the fact that, when he's on the field and he's available, he can still play. I agree, Clayton. He can play at a high level, but how often is that, And we just went through that with Ja. I don't think we want to do it again.
And do you think he's going to be content being a 4th round situational pass rusher that is maybe even less than that? Because like we just talked about, we're not going to give up snaps for LVN, Gary, even probably guys like my boy Cox and some of the new guys that we got on there. If Olivier or Oliver, if he tries to come in and has some spark to him, it's like I don't see Z being the type of team guy to come back to a team that he's already got beef with and just say, "Oh, I'm content just to play whenever you guys need me to play." I just don't see that in his personality.
I agree. H.E. Soda, I would rather develop a young guy than bring a guy like Z
Great
in.
point.
Yeah. Yep. Really, really good point. I like what Chase Green says here too. Barron Sorrell and Devontae White on that TE stunt is something I want to see. Barron Sorrell, man, his tape is fun to watch. It really is. Barron Sorrell is one of those dudes that, it's like we were in the bowl when they drafted him, and it's funny too because like we're sitting in the bleachers at Lambeau Field watching the draft when they drafted him. And I don't know about you guys, but Emilio, Tim, I didn't pick up on he's here. This is all dramatic and all this is going on. I'm looking around going, squirrel.
I was waiting for my chance to kick a field goal.
Right. You were.
It just didn't work out. Yeah.
But I say that because after that story dropped, it's like, oh, yeah, everybody loves Barron Sorrell now because he traveled to the draft and it's this feel-good story. No, when you forget all that and you go look at the tape and his build and everything and you hear – they said one of the reasons that Goody drafted him or wanted to draft him, put him so high, they're big on high character guys, that every person that they scouted in Texas, they would ask them a question. If you could, as a part of the interview process, if you can bring one teammate with you to your NFL team, who would it be? Every single Texas player that they interviewed said Baron Sorrell. That's pretty cool, man.
That's why you got to love Gangster Goody for pulling the trigger, baby.
So you're saying everybody went to his birthday party?
I think they did, Jacob. I think they did go to his birthday.
I'm not saying everyone, but most of them went.
I'll tell you somebody that's not going to Caleb Williams' birthday party. It's this dude right here. This guy right here, Evan Williams, absolutely wrecked Caleb Williams in college. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch the tape from their college matchup where he just, absolutely.
Well, Caleb's having his birthday party at McDonald's, and I'm sure, Evan Williams has a little more class than that. So.
Those were killer birthday parties.
So let's dive into a
little.
It's such a clean Photoshop. All right, let's move it along to Evan Williams. 3 reasons the Packers safety Evan Williams is going to shine in 2025. All right. The Packers' new look offense gets all the buzz, and rightfully so, but the most critical addition from 2024 draft might be rookie safety Evan Williams, who's poised to transform the defense. While draft analysts called him a reach, that was me, by the way. I was one of those dudes when they drafted Evan Williams. I was looking at the board going, man, that seems like that's a little high for him. So that was definitely, I fall into that category. Williams quietly dominated, earning some of the best grades among safeties by midseason. He wasn't just a rotational player. He was a game changer. This isn't just about a surprising rookie year. Williams' unique skills are key to unlocking Jeff Hafley's defensive vision. Here are 3 reasons why he's about to become a household name in Green Bay, starting with what makes him the perfect weapon for the new era Packers defense. All right. So let's look into it. Reason number 1, versatility and football IQ. Evan Williams is set for a massive 2025 because he embodies Jeff Hafley's defensive philosophy. His versatility and football IQ drive the entire secondary. Hafley's zone-heavy 4-3 defense relies on disguise, showing one-look pre-snap and shifting at the snap. This requires smart, instinctive players, and Williams delivers. His football intelligence, often called a FBI, lets him read offenses pre-snap, anticipate plays, and position himself perfectly. He consistently disrupts plays by reading quarterbacks' eyes and breaking on routes with aggression. On the field, his versatility shines. Hafley can deploy him as a deep safety in the box like a linebacker or covering a tight ends in the slot. This flexibility confounds offenses. Imagine Williams creeping up near the line, baiting a pass play, then dropping into a deep zone to steal the quarterback's target. That hesitation creates sacks for Gary and Wyatt. That's the Hafley effect, powered by Williams. We talk about pressure pick, coverage, sack, right? When you can disguise that coverage look pre-snap and then do that late rotation and get back that half a second of hesitation by the quarterback, Emilio, that's how you get in there and sack the quarterback. It says he's also a playmaker. At Oregon, he notched 4.5 sacks, showing blitz prowess, which we haven't seen much of that in Green Bay yet. That's something they may be looking to unlock this year. While underused in that role as a rookie, it's another tool for Hafley in 2025, paired with All-Pro Xavier McKinney. Williams forms part of one of the NFL's smartest safety tandems. Their shared wavelength lets the defense get creative without mental errors, making Williams far more than just a safety. I've been watching his tape all afternoon long, and I did not recognize that last year, of how much they moved him around, Emilio, how they would let him slide in the box. They do a late rotation back out. And it was not too big for him. The moment was not too big for him.
Right. Asking him to be able to be all over the field all at the same time is huge. Being able to do that as a rookie is even better, right? And the fact that Jeff Hafley had the confidence in him to be able to handle all those tasks, that's key. I mean, the dude that you have the FBI, that you have the intelligence, that you're able to process everything in your rookie season. I just can't. I'm so excited for everybody that has been, that's a rookie coming into this year. Every time after their rookie season, I just cannot wait to see them on the field that second year, and just hope that everything they've learned and able to branch out from. I do think Evan Williams has a chance to be a breakout. Those sacks, I don't know if they're going to use him as a blitzer, but I like that he has that in the bag because he can hunt down quarterbacks.
Yeah, definitely. Reason number 2, the proof is in the production. An all-rookie caliber season. The second reason is clear. Williams has already proven himself as a fourth-round rookie. He didn't just survive, he thrived, delivering one of the most efficient seasons among defensive rookies. In 2024, he played 13 games, starting 6, and was vital by season's end, playing every snap in the Packers' wildcard playoff game. He recorded 49 tackles, 3 pass breakups, a forced fumble, and an interception, earning a spot on the Pro Football Writers of America all-rookie team. You look at some of the advanced analytics here as well. Evan Williams finished with the 3rd best passer rating when targeted. Okay, now keep in mind, Robert Rochelle, Omar Brown, minimal snaps. Caetano Ladapo, very few snaps. He had a 39.6. Xavier McKinney pretty much played every snap, 59.0. Right behind him was Evan Williams at a 67.5. It says advanced stats highlighted his impact. Pro Football Focus gave him a 72.3 overall grade, ranking 24th of 98 safeties. Remarkable for a day 3 pick. His 73.8 coverage grade ranked 17th. I repeat, his 73.8 coverage grade ranked 17th, and he allowed just a 67.5 passer rating when targeted, 9th best among 103 safeties. Against the run, his run stop rate tied for 6th best league-wide. This silenced critics who knocked the pick, that's me again, calling him unreliable in coverage. Because you guys remember when we watched the tape on draft night, Tim, that whole draft party we did, when we watched the tape, it's like, man, he's dominant against the run, but where are the pass snaps? Why aren't we seeing him making plays in the passing game? Right. Well, he shut me up last year, Tim.
And lo and behold, he gets drafted, and we see him in the NFL, and what is his strong suit? It's the pass game, right? So it all depends on how you develop, I guess. I'm with you, Clay. I remember having kind of a similar reaction. We thought it was a little bit of a reach in the 4th to grab him. I remember being really excited about Javon Bullard in that pick. I had no idea that Evan Williams was going to have the rookie year that he did. And like Emilio said, man, of all the year 2 guys on this team, I think E. Will might be the dude that I'm the most excited to see this year in year 2 for sure.
It goes on to point out here too, by mid-season, he was making game-clinching plays like a pass breakup to seal a win over the Rams in Week 5 and a forced fumble against the Cardinals in Week 6. When we do Chalk Talk in a minute, you'll see that play. He achieved this while learning a new system and adjusting to NFL speed, proving the Packers found a stud in the 4th round. Jacob, what do you think about Evan, what we've covered so far? Is there anything you disagree with there? Anything that we're leaving out?
No, I just think that I remember the few episodes or the specific episode that Tim was talking about, because we highlighted, who obviously I was a Bullard guy. We all love Caetano Ladapo. And I remember we talked about Evan Williams, and I think even myself, I was like, he seems like he can come up and kind of be that boom guy. I think I even called him a human meat missile type of player. But we all agreed that was kind of limited. That was his thing. He was just kind of an assassin. He wasn't. He was a liability in coverage, I think, was what all of us agreed. And then lo and behold, once the draft settles, I think, like Tim said, I was so ecstatic that we got Bullard. That was like.
Right. And then Bull ends up being the one that's a liability in coverage.
Well, and that's what's crazy.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And so I really do still have hope for both of these guys to make their perspective steps forward, or the second year leap, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, we talk about it all the time, Clayton. You talk about if a defensive guy, specifically in the secondary or really any position, if they score decently in the 60s, you're like, you got yourself something there. When a guy like I didn't realize that he was, what was the stats? It was 17th and 24th.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Right. Not bad for a guy whose college tape looked bad in the pass game, right?
Right. Right. And again, that goes back to the old theory. We don't know what he was asked to do. We know the coverages. We know exactly we don't know exactly what specifically, even we can call it a nickel. We can call it a drop. We can call it a press, whatever you want to say. We don't know exactly what somebody was telling him to do in those positions and whether or not the guys around him made him a successful player. And guess what? This is the NFL. It's not like you're in a college squad. You've got, like Amelia says, that 11, that 22, whatever. Those are pros. Those are dogs. So maybe all of a sudden you get in a group of guys where you don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing. You get to focus on your craft, your zone, your man, whatever you want to say. I just think the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Reason number 3, the leap, growth, leadership, and Hafley system. The final reason is Williams' trajectory. His rookie year showed rapid growth, positioning him for a massive second-year leap. Early in 2024, he played just 34 defensive snaps over 4 games, but his play and preparation forced coaches to start him by week 5, a role he held until a late-season injury. This jump from rotational player to starter in a month shows his ability to adapt. Williams learned best in the fire, and after a full NFL season, he's no longer just reacting, he's anticipating. He said he wants to be more proactive, using formation knowledge to diagnose plays. This is the step from good to great. The timing is perfect. The Packers secondary, with the departure of Jair Alexander, needs young leaders. Williams fits the bill. Matt LaFleur praises his work ethic and mentality, noting he, quote, just works, end of quote. This sets the tone for the secondary. In year 2 under Hafley, the defense is primed for a leap. Year 1 installed the basics. Year 2 brings creativity with more complex disguises and a faster unit. Williams, learning from McKinney and trusted by coaches, is central to this evolution. His rookie year was a foundation. 2025 will be the skyscraper. It goes on to say, Evan Williams' case is clear. His football IQ and versatility makes him Hafley's ideal weapon. He's proven himself with all rookie stats and elite advanced metrics. His growth and fit in the system signal a huge leap in 2025. Among the Packers' young talent, Williams could tie the defense together. He's smart, tough, and always around the ball. He's always around the football. And you're going to see on the tape here in a minute him closing the gap by like 20 yards. It's unbelievable. Green Bay didn't just draft a starting safety. They may have found their secondary centerpiece for years. What do you think? Am I too high on Williams, or do you see him shining in 2025? If you're watching this later on YouTube, on the edit, let us know in the comments what you think. Are we too high on Evan Williams, or do we think that's warranted hype there? As Braden Fielding says in the chat. As Braden says in the chat, Evan is the best hype man we have. He's always celebrating with his teammates when they make a play. I noticed that too. And when he makes a play, man, you could just tell it's fire on fire, Amelia. You need that spark plug on your defense, man. And here's the thing. McKinney is great, and McKinney's still young. I think he's going to be turning 26 this year, right, this season.
Wow, yeah.
But think about this. In 3 years, when McKinney's contract's up, Evan Williams will be stepping into that age, 26, 27, somewhere around there, right? And hopefully he continues to improve, Emilio, and now you got the next great safety to step right into that role.
That's exactly it. And then as a backup plan, you still have Bullard, who you took in the second round. This is just a cherry on top that the 4th rounder that you picked up has this ability and is, jumped out to it's like you picked up a Zach Tom on defense.
Yes.
So I mean, having that ability, having that luck or the skill of, drafting somebody with that kind of talent in that round, I mean, we're in good shape, seriously. And the fact that he's learning from somebody like X is just all the more better. I mean, honestly.
And you're right, Clay. X turns 26 a week after family night. So
That's what I was saying.
First preseason game against the Jets is his birthday. So happy early birthday to X.
Yeah, I mentioned on one of our posts the other day, and when we did a show, that he was 26, and it's amazing how people in the YouTube comments, he's 25, LOL. It's like, oh my god!
All right,
Actually,
3.5 weeks.
Unbelievable. So, yeah. Jacob, what do you think, man? Anything else you want to add to the Evan Williams talk, man? I'm excited about this kid. Where do you see the tape here in a second, man? We pulled some really cool clips.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like what Packers Kingdom said. By the way, I look like the neighbor from Home Improvement right here. I'm just kind of peeking over the fence. Just to
Wilson?
Look here. Wilson, thank you. He says, can we thank the safeties coaches, please? They need to rise. We came from Savage, Owens. I think he said, can we thank the safeties coaches, please? They need a raise. We came from Savage, Owens, and Rudy Ford, even though I like them, to X, Williams, Catan, Zane, Bullard. God bless the safety coaches. I mean, I'm not sure if they're the same exact ones there, but just the effect. I would more thank Goot.
I was just going to say, I mean.
Yeah, right.
God bless this guy, Like,
yeah.
It's a clean do-rag, too. H.E. Soder with the super chat. Thank you, Soder. He says, Packers have not really seen defensive players make a big year to second-year jump. Is there a reason to think that Hafley scheme changes this? I was just thinking this while I was reading that article to you guys, Soder. The way that Hafley adjusted about a third of the way through the season and changed that defense up and really started going to the simulated pressures, right, and doing some of that stuff, he didn't waste any time to adjust. So maybe he will be quick to adjust and get these guys in a position to be successful a lot quicker. I would anticipate these guys to take a year or two jump. The problem is offenses are now caught onto that scheme. And it doesn't mean they're going to go out there and just light us up and we're going to be a bottom 5 defense. But what it does mean is your coordinator cannot be so caught up in this is what I like to do and this is all I'm doing. And that's why it gives me a little bit of hope that Hafley, we may take a slight step back on defense just because of the tape that's out there now. But with his ability to be able to adjust and maneuver as he goes along, that's why the fourth quarter defense, if I remember correctly, was so darn good last year, is because he's making those adjustments right down the stretch, as where other coordinators would just know, stick to what we do, So, yeah, appreciate the super chat there, man. I think you're going to see some year or two jump, man. I think it's unrealistic to expect Edgerrin Cooper to take another step because he was just so damn good last year, right? Yep. But when you look at people like Javon Bullard, that's one. If he gets meaningful reps, if somebody gets banged up and he gets put back in, I think he would be more comfortable in this defense this year than he was last year. Like Emilio pointed out all year long, 1 week he's having to play nickel. The next week they're making him jump back to safety because people are getting banged up and injured. That's a tough thing to ask a rookie to do. And you know what? He was good enough to stay on the field, and in the slot, he played pretty damn good against the run. So, anything else on Evan Williams? Just thank you for the super chat, Soder. Anything, boys?
Nothing on Williams, but Andy Monday, he said, sorry, boys, I just missed 15 seconds of the pod because YouTube was showing us a Culver's commercial.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them, though.
Yeah. All I'm saying is me and Emilio, let's maybe reach out to Culver's and see if they want to sponsor the best show of all time.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Let me know when y'all find that show, by the way.
Clayton, can you give a little explanation to Boz? He says he's been away for a while. What's with this number 1, number 2, number 3 jazz? And how do I join this game?